Good morning. Please come to a seated position on your mat. Find your foundation just by shifting your glutes with your hands from your sitting bones, literally shifting them back so your sitting bones can root down into the earth. Inhale, exhale through the mouth, sigh. Let's do that one more time. Out through the mouth. This time we'll inhale, pause at the top, part our lips, and make an om. So inhale, pause, and om. One more. Bring your hands together at heart center. Press into your hands and press your shoulder blades together. Feel the crown of your head lifting as it lengthens and aligns the rest of your spine. This morning's theme is going to be one of the niyamas. The niyamas are the second branch of yoga, and they are reflections on our inner world, our sense of self. And today's class is going to be themed around tapas. And tapas is the third niyama. And what it means is discipline. So obviously in life, we need to have balance. There needs to be a balance between our self-discipline, our desire to make an impact on our surroundings, and also our ability to relinquish control. But what we can do always is manage ourselves, balance ourselves. So sometimes we do need to relinquish control when it comes to other people, the world around us, and even with ourselves. But where in your life can you pull up some self-discipline that brings you to a bigger and better place, the place where you need to and want to go? Let this practice be a practice for life. We never shove ourselves into the position we want us to be in, but we do look towards what we want and guide ourselves there. So bow into your heart centers. Thank yourself for coming here today. And roll over onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. This is your tabletop position. Fingers are spread wide, plugging your four corners of your palms into the mat. So inhale. This time I want you to sort of rock forward as you scoop your belly, lift your sitting bones, lift your gaze, and come back. And then exhale, go forward as you scoop your tailbone. Your spine goes to the ceiling. And then come back a little bit. Inhale, scoop. And exhale, press into your spine. So find a little bit of movement here. Swaying back and forth as you switch from your cow pose to your cat pose. Pulsing with the breath. One more breath here. Beautiful. Come back to a neutral spine in tabletop. Send your glutes just a little bit towards your heels and see if you can swing your glutes towards the right. Inhale back to center and exhale, swing your glutes towards the left. So maybe your head turns in the opposite direction. As your glutes go right, your head turns to the left. Feel the stretch along the right side of your body. Inhale back, exhale to the left, head goes towards the right. Follow your breath. Two more breaths here. And back to neutral. Make sure your wrist creases are pointing forward. Really feel into the foundations of your hands. Without putting too much weight in your hands, so mostly supporting yourselves with your abs, can you rock your hands so that you rock to the inner lining of your hand, lifting the pinky side of your palm, and then rock so that you can rest the pinky side on the mat and lift the inner lining of your hands off of the mat. So just try rocking back and forth for a moment. The inner lining to the outer lining, waking up the wrists. And remember, we're not putting too much of our weight into our hands as we're doing this. We're supporting ourselves with our abs. You can maybe back up a little bit so you're more over top of your knees. And it looks like a very micro movement. It doesn't look too hard, but you should definitely be feeling this in your forearms, your hands, and your wrists. And the reason we feel this in our forearms and our hands is because our wrists actually don't have their own respective muscles. The muscles in our wrists are actually fine-tuned in tiny little muscles in our forearms and our hands. So we don't use them very much. We don't tilt our hands like this very much when we do this. As uncomfortable as it might feel, you're waking up parts of your body that we're not used to using. So it's good for your brain too. So the next time you come to the outside, stay there for a moment and slower than you want to, roll towards the inside. And lift the pinky side. And then back towards the other side. So we're going really slow now. Beautiful. Plug your hands into the mat and press up and back into downward facing dog. Press into your hands and let your heels go towards the earth. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Beautiful. Look towards your hands and either bend into your elbows and hop up to the top of your mat, or you can step and walk up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Neck comes back, shoulders come back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Palms together and down through heart center and alongside your hips. Just a moment. Ground into your feet. Feel your breath. Find your foundation. Pedal out your feet here for a moment. Maybe lift your toes. Find those arches. And then gently let them rest on the mat. Maintaining that same engagement. Bend into your knees and scoop your arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands, bend into your elbows slightly. We're going to do 10 donkey kicks here. So just kick your feet towards your butt. And we're really putting our strength into our arms here. So 1, we're going to do 10 of these. 2, count your own. Beautiful. Drop your knees as wide as your mat. Once you've done your 10, let your glutes come towards your heels. Extend your arms out in front of you and melt your heart to the earth. Forehead can rest on the earth. And just breathe for a moment. Beautiful. We're going to do 2 more sets of donkey kicks. So get your hands planted into your foundation and step back up into downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. Bend into your elbows slightly and do 10 more donkey kicks. Ready? Go. Remember, your breath is part of your strength. Beautiful. Stay in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. And exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Drop your left heel so you're in a front heel to back arch alignment. Swing your forearm to your front thigh and reach your left arm up and overhead. Breathe in your side angle pose. Inhale, arms parallel to the earth, warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Send your front fingertips forward and then send them down towards the earth. Left fingertips towards the sky. Open up through your chest. And breathe. Bend into your front knee. Plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and overhead. And exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Drop your right heel. And bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm comes up and overhead. Side angle pose. Strengthen and firm your right thigh so you can feel that stretch along the right side of your body. Inhale, arms come parallel to the earth, warrior 2. Exhale, straighten your front leg, send your fingertips forward, and begin to send them slowly towards the earth. You can come to a block if you need to. Shoulders on your back, chest and heart are opening, maybe looking up towards your fingertips. This is your triangle pose. Bend into your front knee. Plant your hands and step back to downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. You can step or hop up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms down through heart center and alongside your waist. So for this, grab some blocks or have a balancing object in front of you. Maybe a chair, maybe a desk, whatever you need. Find your foundation in your feet. And once you found your foundation, you really feel the four corners of your feet. Shift your weight onto your left leg and begin to lift your right leg, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and immediately reach for your blocks. From here, flex your right toes towards your knee and sit into an imaginary chair. Send your glutes back, breathe. This is your standing figure 4, and it's a beautiful hip stretch. We did a little bit of everything today, some full body. We had the arms, the abs, and now we're doing the legs. In this spirit of self-discipline, I just wanted you to get a little taste of it all. But sometimes we just have to focus on one thing. Today's class, we're doing a little medley of it all. See if you can send your glutes energetically back even more. Inhale, press into your left foot, bring your right foot down and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms down through heart center and alongside your waist. Find your foundation in your feet again. Shift your weight over to your right foot. And as you do, lift your left foot, cross your left ankle over your right knee, and begin to reach for your blocks. Flex your left toes towards your left knee, send your glutes back, and breathe. See if you can bend your standing leg even more, send your glutes back more like you're sitting into a chair, and breathe. Maybe even smile here. Can you smile when things get tough? Can you soften and still participate? Beautiful. Send your glutes back for one more breath. Press into your standing leg and drop your left foot to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. You can remove your blocks. From your folded position, walk your hands or your feet back into a downward facing dog. Breathe here for a moment. Come onto your knees and keep your toes curled under. Take your right hand. I'll point this at me so you can see what I'm doing. Take your right hand and weave it under your left hand, and you can keep your left hand right by your face, maybe even gently pressing into your left hand to help your right hand rotate. And breathe. You can begin to send your glutes back towards your heels if you want a little bit more of a shoulder stretch. Or you can stay exactly as you are. Honor your body. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Make them really slow, nurturing breaths. Really imagine that you can nurture your body with each and every breath, which is exactly what it does. Press into your left hand. Bring your right hand back to the mat so you're in tabletop position. And then leave your left arm under your right arm. Bring your shoulder to the mat. You can press into your right hand, which is by your face, to help with the twist. Just slightly guiding yourself into your twist. Maybe you notice one side is tighter than the other. Can you honor both equally as a part of your growth journey? Can you give gratitude for the opportunity to grow? You can send your glutes towards your heels if you want a little bit more of a stretch. Beautiful. Press into your right hand. Bring both arms out in front of you with your toes curled under. Melt your heart forward. Tent your fingers so they're in almost like you've got cupcakes under your hands. Lift your shoulder blades together. Lift the underlining of your arms, exposing your ears. And melt. Beautiful. Come to a kneeling position on your feet. And then roll over onto your glutes. Extend your legs out in front of you. Find your foundation, which requires that you use your hands to move your glutes. Have your legs extended out in front of you and flex your toes towards your face. Make sure that your toes are flexed in a way that your pinky toes are really brought towards your face. So activate your pinky toes. We often forget about our feet, just kind of flapping them around, hoping they do the job. But our feet have all of our nerve endings, and so many bones and muscles. See if you can fine tune them. This is really going to be a practice of re-engaging with your feet for a moment. Inhale, reach your torso long through the crown of your head. And exhale, fold over your feet. Over your legs. Grab your feet, your ankles, your shins, whatever you can reach for. And have your gaze looking towards your legs as you pull, slightly guiding yourself into this fold. And giving yourself a juicy back stretch. When you give yourself opportunities to face the hard things, you create growth. So face the hard things, because you can only go up. Beautiful. Walk your hands up your legs so you can slowly come back to a seated position. Roll over onto your backs and bring your knees into a tented position so they're just slightly bent. Take your hands and just run them from the base of your neck up to your skull and rest as much as you can the back of your neck on the earth. So that might mean that none of your neck is touching the earth because we naturally have a curve in our necks. But we want to reduce that curve because we're jetting our heads forward all the time. Can you really imagine that your neck is an extension of your spine and draw it long to connect with the rest of your spine? And that's just by lifting the crown of your head. Take a moment to tuck your shoulder blades behind you. And bring your feet just about as wide as the outer edge of your hips, or maybe your mat. Tent your knees in towards each other, and just let them windshield wiper from side to side for a moment. The next time you go to the right, let them flop, but make sure that your left shoulder is heavy. So your left shoulder should not be coming off of the mat. Maybe that means your legs cannot reach the ground. That is okay. If you want a little bit of an extra stretch, you can bring your right heel to the outer edge of your left knee to help sort of guide it down. You can also bring your arms into goalposts alongside you and look towards the opposite side, so look towards your left. Let your breath soften you. Let go of everything else. Beautiful. Remove your ankle from your knee if it was there and inhale your knees back to neutral. Just press into your feet and scoot your tailbone down a little bit to reduce that curve in your low back. Tent your knees in towards each other. And then drop them over towards your left. Option to bring your arms up into goalposts and look towards your right. Option to bring your left heel over your right knee. And breathe. That one is not an option. Allow your breath to soften you even more into this pose. We don't push ourselves, we allow ourselves. Sometimes there's self-discipline in relinquishing control, knowing what we can control, creating space for the nature of life to unfold. And sometimes in order to create that space for what you want in your life, you need to work at it. You need to focus on it. Put your desire and your drive into it. Can we always be the project of our desires? Remove your left ankle from your right knee if it was there. And inhale your legs back to neutral. Bring both knees into your belly and just rock from side to side, giving your kidneys a massage, your low back a massage. You can drop your feet to the mat. Extend your fingertips towards your heels. Maybe bring your heels closer towards your fingertips. Feet are right in line with your hips. Inhale, exhale. And inhale, lift your glutes. Maybe bring your shoulder blades even more behind you. See how that can help you lift your hips even higher to the sky. Bridge pose. Breathe here. We're going to do 10 pulses, so just pulse your hips for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and lower down for 5. Beautiful. Extend your legs out wider than your mat. Let your feet fall to the sides of the room. Let your palms flip open. Find your spine alignment with your neck. Maybe also scoot your tailbone down to reduce that curve in your low back. And breathe. Mindfulness is a discipline. And what it describes is a sort of engagement and awareness of and with the present moment. It's the hardest thing for us to do, to not try. Sometimes it's hard to try, to give ourselves a good kick in the pants and get moving. And sometimes it's hard for us to just let go and not try to do anything right, not try, just not try. For the end of your practice today, as we lie here in corpse pose, can you just let go? Can you try not to try? As paradoxical as that might seem. Practice the art of letting go. Use this time and let go. Begin to find some movement in your fingers and toes, your hands and feet, wrists and ankles. Bring your hands together overhead and your feet together and give yourself a good stretch. Roll over onto your right side. Use your bicep as a pillow. Rest for a moment. And press into your hands. And come up to a seated position. When you've found your center, bring your hands to your heart center. Press gently into your hands, and as you do, gently press your shoulder blades together. Feel how that opens up your chest. When we actively participate in the present moment, we have the opportunity to create opportunities in our lives. Bow into your heart center and thank yourself again for coming today, for the work that you've done, for the commitment that you've made to yourself. The light and shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and shadow in each of you. Namaste.